So yesterday I made a video reaction of Michael Knowles giving his take on the Candace Owens attacking Erika Kirk with a complete docu-series that is a complete and utter waste of time. It's not giving you guys anything new, but Candace wants to paint it out like Erika Kirk is not just weird, but she's responsible for killing Charlie. She's also a groomer. She's just a nefarious individual, according to Candace. So that's what this entire documentary series or this investigation series, Bride of Charlie, is all about. Now, Michael Knowles had a very, very bad take. In case you haven't seen that video, I encourage you to go and check it out because he essentially slammed and called out every single conservative that is choosing to spend their time trying to protect Charlie's legacy by calling out all the individuals that are attacking Erika and spitting on Charlie's grave, as it were. And he said it's a waste of time. We shouldn't be spending all our time fixating on this because there is this concerted effort on the right, that's playing out at the moment. And anyone that chooses to defend Erika in the way that we are defending Erika by calling out the lies, the attacks from Candace and her little mob, according to Michael Knowles, it's just a small amount of people that are, attacking Erika. It's one of the worst takes that I've seen a conservative commentator have. Now, in contrast, I want to show you Matt Walsh. Now, Michael and Matt are colleagues, and I think it's okay for people to have bad takes every now and then, right? I have bad takes too, that I'm sure many of you disagree with me on some of my takes. It's totally fine. When it comes down to the Candace versus Erika Kirk, see, there's only Erika Kirk. Candace started the attacks. She's launched this investigation into a widow, into the wife of her supposed friend. Would a friend do something like this? Ask yourself that question. Now, some people have reframed this. They've reframed what Candace Owens is doing to try and make it make sense. You have this corner of the internet that is loving this because it has created drama, and people thrive on drama at the expense, unfortunately, of good individuals. So if Candace wants to attack someone and create an entire narrative, it's just what she does. But the consequences thereafter are quite concerning because she has quite a bit of power, in case you guys weren't aware, with her cult-like following. And that cult-like following on the internet that loves that drama, they go in on the attack. Even though they're not smart, they use a lot of emotion. And that emotion, my friends, gets people killed. It's what we've seen in the past with heightened emotional individuals. You had a heightened emotional individual turn up at Mar-a-Lago just the other day with a shotgun and a propane tank, I think it is. And he came from a Trump-loving family. People were saying that the guy was very, very quiet. He was heightened on emotion. This is what happens when you spread false narratives and you create and stir the pot, as it were. You attack an individual that has a massive, massive undertaking now with leading Turning Point USA because Charlie made her his number 2. And again, what I said in my video yesterday, it rings true. If every single conservative commentator on the internet, every single last one post Charlie's death, the moment Candace or anyone else started attacking not just Charlie's legacy, but Erika Kirk and her kids, if every single last one of them put a stop to Candace doing it, we would not be here today. It's the result of cowardice from Brandon Tatum, first and foremost, who's best friends with Candy, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, some very big name individuals. You have Jack Probasek, or whatever the hell his name is, as well, keeping silent, too afraid to even mention her name. Oh, sure, they know that what Candace is doing, I'm talking about Jack for a moment here, and Brandon, they know what Candace is doing is wrong, but they're refusing to use her name. They're talking about everyone else on the internet that is part of the Candace cult, except they refuse to use the ringleader. And Megyn Kelly's just as bad. By the way, if you haven't seen, Megyn Kelly's gone full-on groper. She had Tucker Carlson on her show today talking about the war with Iran that is just around the corner. Gone full-as groper. Of course, she's ignoring the massive series that Candace Owens has created because, according to Megyn Kelly, she supports what Candace Owens is doing. She supports Candace Owens attacking, trying to do a full-on character assassination into Erika Kirk and throw insinuations and accusations out there to paint Erika Kirk out like she is the real villain. Not that she's a victim of losing her husband. No, she's the villain now. And one commentator that not long ago commented on Candace and called her out, Matt Walsh, telling her to stop. Did Candace Owens stop? Absolutely not. She doubled down. She got a hell of a lot worse. And like I said, if every single last one of these conservative, or they call themselves conservative commentators, if they all banded together and silenced Candace, we would not be here. We would not be here today. But we didn't. There's a couple. We had to voice the fact that this was horrible and wrong because we could see it. And now, only now, after Candace made a series, only now are you getting a little bit more of the conservative branch, I guess you could say, that have rather bigger followings calling her out. Now, here is one clip from Matt Walsh. So Candace's claims about Erika Kirk, none of them would stack up in a court of law. None. Just so you're aware. But it's not about that. It's not whether or not it stacks up in a court of law for Candace. It's how she can shape the narrative to make people believe in what she's saying about Erika. That's what it's about. You change the narrative, you manipulate it to your nefarious means. So if she can make Erika out like she is the true villain, but Candace is the hero, people are going to go after the villain. We've seen that time and time again. The radical left did it with Charlie. They painted Charlie as the villain. He's a racist. He's a Nazi. He's this, he's this, he's this. He's a transphobe. And look what happened. You had a radical leftist, Tyler Robinson, shoot him in the neck in front of everyone. Heightened emotion. All lies, by the way. He wasn't a racist. He wasn't a transphobe. He was one of the most loving Christian people out there. One of the most understanding too. But he didn't shy away from the truth. And unfortunately, Candace, where she's gone at the moment, is the pit of hell. Lies. So let me show you this clip. I know I've gone a little bit long setting this up, but here's Matt Walsh.
There's nothing weird about the fact that Charlie enjoyed doing his life's work. It also is, by the way, perfectly consistent with everything I saw from him personally. He was always amped and excited at any event where I saw him. Let's continue.
She then says that Charlie woke up for a snack at 2:45 in the morning. And apparently he was so loud, the apartment's small, and maybe it was his excitement. He's like, yeah, you, yeah, I'm so excited. Who knows? Okay, we're not clear on that. But the implication is that's what woke up her 3-year-old daughter at 2:45 in the morning. That's not when toddlers at the age of 3 wake up, okay? These are sleep-trained toddlers, okay? Gigi wakes up at 2:45, 3-year-old kid who should be in the REM stage of sleep. Toddlers knock out. Maybe Gigi is a light sleeper. It's also just curious that they're all awake. It's 2:45 a.m. in the morning. I don't know what's going on.
But toddlers do wake up at 3 a.m. I mean, I have a toddler right now who wakes up in the middle of the night almost every night. In fact, every one of our 6 children have gone through that phase around that age. It's the most normal thing in the world. So there's simply no reason at all to think that she lied about this. And even if you do think she lied about it, still, and maybe you're sensing a theme here, it would not be evidence of any crime. But it continues, watch.
Maybe there's noise, not from excitement, but maybe an argument. Maybe there was an argument. That would make more sense to me, especially when we add in how she concludes that portion by telling us that Charlie took off his wedding ring during that same night, which is why he, of course, then had to put it back on the next morning. And Erika says that he snuck in the next morning to put that wedding band on. I immediately clocked that. Even when that interview was live, I said, that's weird, just because I know Charlie, but I couldn't explain that to the audience. I know Charlie. Charlie's the kind of person who could sleep with his boots on. Like this little ring. I don't know virtually any men. Truly, I don't know any. But obviously, I'm assuming there are. Maybe you've got a funky little band and maybe your hand's swollen with some, I don't know, that like meticulously take that little band off. Charlie doesn't strike me as the type of person who would do that. I said, that seems a little off.
Now, I mentioned before how these kinds of conspiracy theories not only draw unsupported conclusions based on irrelevant and sometimes imaginary details, but that the theories actually make less sense of the irrelevant details. And we see that again here. If Erika is a criminal mastermind who's managed to avoid detection for her nefarious plots, and she's in league with the U.S. military and other extremely powerful organizations, then why would she also confess live on primetime television to numerous incriminating details for no reason whatsoever? She didn't have to mention anything about the wedding ring, which, by the way, many men do take off at night. She didn't have to mention anything about the bed that Charlie slept in or the toddler waking up. But Erika slipped up, apparently, and revealed all of these incriminating details because in all her sinister planning, she couldn't think of a good cover story. Now, if Erika is hiding some sinister truth, none of that makes sense. She would be doing the opposite of what she's actually doing in real life. I want to focus instead on the increasingly aggressive and single-minded attacks on Erika Kirk specifically. As you may have seen, last night Candace debuted a new series called The Bride of Charlie, which purports to tell us the sinister truth about Erika. This, of course, didn't come out of nowhere. For weeks now, Candace has openly suggested that Erika may have committed a crime in connection with her husband's murder. For example, here she was a couple of weeks ago stating that the police should detain Erika and subject her to interrogation. Watch.
Look, I have seen enough, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen enough. Erika Kirk should be dragged into a police precinct for questioning. Like I said, you can show me the person who disagrees with me on that after I will reveal to you what we can now confirm. You can show me that individual and I will show you a full blown fraud. That's the only people that would disagree with that assessment.
Well, but as we'll see, there isn't enough evidence to justify dragging her into a police precinct, much less charging her with a crime, much less convicting her. There isn't any evidence, actual positive evidence, that Erika has committed any crime or covered up any crime or had any involvement in any crime, to include especially the crime of murdering her husband. And that's why, although the innuendos about Erika may be compelling fodder for YouTube videos, they would not be compelling to a grand jury or a prosecutor or a judge. If you took everything that's been said about Erika or implied and tried to present it as evidence in a court of law, you would be laughed out of the room. There's no case here. There's no evidence of anything. Now, these attacks on Erika by Candace and by everyone else engaged in this campaign are wrong, deeply, desperately wrong. Wrong morally and factually. They are wrong morally because they are wrong factually. The whole crux of the matter here is not just that Erika is a grieving widow, but that she is innocent of the accusations that are being made or implied against her. The point is not that, hey, Erika may have killed her husband or been involved in it or covered it up, but we should take it easy on her because she's a grieving widow. The point is that Erika didn't do any of that. There's no evidence that she did any of that. No evidence at all, period. Defaming anybody with untrue accusations is very bad, but defaming a widow, the grieving wife of a man that we all say we loved and admired, is unspeakably, horrifically bad. Now, most of Candace's critics have responded to her latest episode and every other.
Matt, don't you get it? Erika would admit all this sort of stuff on primetime TV so that Candace would be watching And when Candace hears something, even though she will craft it, she will shape it to whatever she wants it to be. That's what she does. She's a storyteller, a liar, deceiver. And she will paint the narrative around Erika is not only weird, but she's guilty of a crime that she hasn't even committed. See, in Candace's world, Erika or anyone close to Erika is already guilty of a crime. And it's just how she is able to convince you of that. Accusations without any evidence. She'll shape Erika's, I guess, persona or her emotional state, as she's not fit to lead. So none of the accusations, don't know if you're aware of this, but I've spent countless, and I mean countless hours, video after video, breaking down one after the other of, well, many of Candace's claims. And none of them, for me at least, none of them are indicative of Erika committing any kind of crime whatsoever. But again, you're already guilty if Candace Owens says so. Now, it's good that Matt Walsh is dissecting this the way that he's dissecting it and explaining for, well, everyone. But the problem is there are some lunatic asylum level individuals out there that really do believe what Candace Owens is saying because they're dumb. There's not really much going on upstairs for them, is there? They don't work in real evidence. See, by Candace saying something, that's all the evidence they need because Candace has created this trust sphere around her. Everything that Candace does, she can do absolutely no wrong. Even if she is found guilty of doing something wrong or lying or whatever else, even if she is caught, it doesn't matter. People are so psychotically stupid that they will believe what she has to say. And every single person that is too much of a coward to call her out is equally so. They are also stupid. I'm talking about Brandon Tatum. I'm talking about Megan Stinking Kelly, Tucker Carlson, the whole damn lot of them. Because they too claim to be friends with Charlie. And do you really think that Charlie would allow someone to attack his wife the way that they're attacking her? Or even her kids, Charlie's kids? Put yourself in Erika's shoes for 5 seconds. Would you allow anyone to attack you the way that Erika's being attacked? Or better yet, if you're married and your wife is getting attacked and accused of some heinous things from a vindictive, vicious, evil, spiteful witch, a demon, would you stand for it? Especially if one of your friends, for example, is also being accused too. Would you stand for it? Or would you say, oh, I'm all in favor of her saying it for freedom of speech reasons? There's a difference between freedom of speech and condemning what that person has said in their speech. And there's also, you can put a stop to incitement. You can put a stop to disinformation. You can put a stop to lies. And Michael Knowles' take yesterday pretty much was like, well, Christians shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be calling out the small little amount of people that are focused on what Candace is doing to try and protect Charlie and Erika. You know, can only imagine how Erika must be feeling, right? Her grief is very real. In fact, let me show you this video from Matt Walsh.
You would see, as I have clear as day, that this woman is completely devastated, broken into 1,000 pieces by this tragedy. She is shattered. She is crushed. And now, already grief-stricken and gutted, she must deal with public scorn, mockery, and defamation unlike anything I've ever seen in my life, much less experienced myself. If you're worried that she isn't sad enough, fear not. I can report she's sad. She is very, very sad. And if for some unknown reason it makes you feel better to know that, well, now you do. The other thing you notice about Erika, if you talk to her in real life, is that she is a real person dealing with a real thing. Everybody else on the internet has the benefit of treating this whole thing like some kind of game, a piece of content that you watch and then scroll past. You engage with the story in bits and pieces when you want to here and there, and then you don't. I'm talking about it right now as an episode of my podcast. Candace has done many episodes about it. Erika lives with it every second of every day. This is her life. It's not a game for her. It's not content. It's her life. Now, I've talked about how deeply Charlie's death affected me, and it did. I was changed by it, and not for the better, I'm sorry to say. I'm an angrier person now. I admit that. But I also recognize that even in the immediate aftermath of his death, I could still put my phone down and turn off the TV and try to take my mind off the tragedy and go spend time with my family, with my wife who is alive and my children who are happy and safe with two parents who love them. I have that luxury. So does Candace. Erika does not. When I was trying to take my mind off of things, do you know what Erika was doing? She was explaining to her young children that their daddy will never be coming home. Do you know what that's like? Have you ever had to have a conversation like that? I haven't. I pray I never do. And every night since that day, while I am happily at home with my family and Candace is with hers, Erika is home with two children who are suffering a trauma that they're far too young to process, while she carries a grief that most of us can't comprehend. And all the while, she is gleefully ripped to pieces by hordes of people who cannot muster even the faintest shred of sympathy for her. Will anything I'm saying right now change that? Will it make any difference at all? I don't know. Probably not. Is it likely to persuade Candace or any of her fans or anyone else who's been attacking Erika? That's probably unlikely, though I can always hope. You know, there's a debate on the right now about the best way to defend Charlie's family and legacy through all of this. Is it better to starve the conspiracy theories of attention, deprive them of oxygen, or should we focus on them intently? Should we scream and shout and get angry? Should we approach the issue objectively and offer a dispassionate rebuttal? I'll be honest with you, I've argued with myself about this. I don't know the answer. All I know is that Erika Kirk is a victim, not a culprit or a conspirator. She doesn't deserve any of this. What she deserves is sympathy and maybe a little bit of grace. And if we really loved and admired Charlie, then extending that basic level of decency to his wife.
The sad reality of what Matt Walsh said, especially the part about those that are attacking, especially Candace. See, this doesn't really affect Candace at all. It affects her positively in the sense that she gets a great deal of money because people are watching her crap. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but if you are getting millions of views every single episode. Now, Rob Schneider had a breakdown of how much money Candace Owens has earned on every single video she has made since Charlie's death. And it is shocking. Hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. She has hit the jackpot, but at the expense of Erika. Erika lives with this every single day because a tragedy happened to her and her kids. It didn't happen to Candace. Now, everyone likes to say, oh, everyone's grieving differently. They handle things differently. Candace is not grieving. This is not what grieving people do, in case you were wondering. Grieving people do not immediately go, oh, I'm going to investigate who really killed my supposed friend, and then go into the accusations. You know, the maroon T-shirts accuse pretty much everyone but Tyler Robinson. Create a narrative that the feds are complicit, Turning Point betrayed Charlie. Everyone is responsible for killing Charlie, except evidently her. She's the woman scorned. But she does not care. She is a heartless, soulless, evil, twisted witch. that is controlled by the devil. I've been making another video of Candace's reaction to people, Christians, praying for Erika soon. But she does not have to live with what Erika has to live with. In fact, she is the cause of more pain and more grief that now Erika has to deal with, the defamation, as Matt Walsh was talking about. I don't think I have ever seen anyone have to deal with what Erika is having to deal with. And people online, they live online. They don't care about what something like this does to a person. And God is quite clear about grieving widows, how he protects them. And I can only say this. It's going to be a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. And as Candace threatens every single last one of us and says that there's this massive campaign funded by Israel or funded by Turning Point to call out what she's doing as evil, which to me shows that she's a narcissistic, psychopathic gaslighter. There was no paid plan. Everyone understood that has a brain on them. They understood what Candace is doing. And they all came out in defense at the same time because, I don't know if you're aware of this, Candace, you dropped the trailer. So what are people supposed to do? People reacted in that moment to the trailer in unison. Every single last one. I was one of them because that's when the content came out. Everyone did what they felt in their heart, being spirit-led, was the right thing to do. And that is call you out. But of course, you being called out, you hate. And again, she reshapes it. Reshapes the narrative surrounding, oh, woe is me. Look, guys, everyone, they're all coming out in defense of Erika because of what I'm doing. I must have hit something, must have hit a nerve. You did hit a nerve. You did hit a nerve with everyone that has a brain and is spiritual. Everyone that knows right from wrong. You hit a nerve, all right. Even the mainstream media is calling you like the queen of MAGA or something. Queen of conspiracies. Like, wow. You're promising to reveal Erika's deepest, darkest secrets. But as I've said many times, and I'll close with this, you're not going to see anything new that she hasn't already shared. It's just going to be a bunch of wild accusations, threats, and like Ben Shapiro said, and I'm hoping even Matt Walsh said it, Matt Walsh said it's defamation, which is grounds for Turning Point to sue the living crap out of Erika. But I think Erika's got enough on her plate at the moment to deal with. But I think there will be people that support Erika, very powerful people, no doubt about it. She has Trump's ear. I really think, I'm 100% certain that Trump knows. Hell, the mainstream media reporting on it. So we already know Trump watches the mainstream media. He's chronically online. Candace went viral. She was trending. So Trump would have to be living under a rock, which I don't think he is, to not see what's going on. But Trump knows, and he's a very powerful man. And I guarantee you, with the relationship he has with Erika, I do not think for 1 second he's going to be very, very happy with this disgusting episode that's taking place. So, Candace, you've been put on notice by literally the most powerful man in the world and by God. Because you keep attacking a grieving widow and her family, and mark my words, God's not going to let that stand. So your choice, Candace. Anyway, I'm glad that Matt Walsh said this. I want to close with this. This is someone that responded to Matt Walsh's defense of Erika by going, it's actually the worst defense of Erika I've seen. Talk about cop out or cope. He says the series has provided zero evidence of Erika being involved in the assassination. Here's the issue. The series was never about that. Never about evidence. I'm glad we can admit that. See? They're telling you it was never about providing actual evidence that Erika Kirk is involved in Charlie's death or that Erika Kirk is a horrible human being. The series is about who did Charlie marry? Who's running the largest conservative organization in the country? That's what they supposedly want you to see it as. Except Candace is going even worse, you dingbat. Candace is going, Erika is a groomer. She's part of a human trafficking ring, and she killed Charlie, and she should be arrested and questioned by police. See, that's the thing. These people, they don't care about the truth. They only care about what Candace says is the truth. Big difference. And we all already know that Candace claims to be the arbiter of truth, which is a very dangerous place to be. Anyway, that's enough from me. You guys take care. Be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.